So, good afternoon. It is my privilege as a board member to offer a few comments in honor of the families and the graduates of the class of 2025. Whoever thought you would get here? The theme of this selected for this year is You Raise Me Up. You've all heard it many times already, and the beautiful performance of the choir serves as a powerful metaphor for the connection, resilience, and aspirations that define high school experience and the promise of the world ahead for you. Now, I know you all are sitting there thinking, oh God, are these comments going to go on and on and on? The answer is no. I will be mercifully brief. As I thought about what to say today, as an academic researcher, I decided to ask several colleagues and friends what they remember from their high school graduation. One said she remembered the speaker. I said, what did he say? She said, I don't know, I don't remember. Another one said it was hot, but couldn't recall anything else. Finally, a third noted that she had a wicked hangover and she couldn't remember anything at all. The results of my research, very few remember what was said, so the pressure's off. I too do not remember what was said at my high school graduation, but I do distinctly remember waking up that morning and thinking, wow, this is a big deal. I'm graduating from high school. Imagine. I had an immense feeling of anticipation, a scary feeling of opportunity, and an exciting feeling of freedom. It's important to remember, however, that my high school graduation was 62 years ago. That's a long time. Are things different today? I don't think so. I think it's more or less the same. To keep you amused, and I offer this to the class of 2025, for any math nerds there are in your class, I have a challenge. Remember, I used to be a math teacher, and once a math teacher, always a math teacher. So if you are awake at the end of this ceremony, please come up to me and be the first person to tell me, how old am I? No hints from parents. Now to the business of the day, the importance of connection. The recurring chorus of the song is, you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. But for today's graduates, I want to ask you, who raised you up? Was it your family? Maybe it was your kindergarten teacher. Maybe it was your UWC TOK teacher, your tune parent, your friends. The line of the song emphasizes the profound impact that mentors, teachers, family, and yes, certainly your friends have in elevating you to overcome challenges. Graduation is an opportune time to acknowledge and appreciate those who have provided unwavering support through this academic journey. It is evident that no one gets to high school graduation alone. So please, graduates, I ask you to stand, make eye contact with family, teachers, friends who have raised you up. Stand up and give them your acknowledged appreciation, please. Yes, it's okay to wave. What else does the song tell us? The importance of resilience. Groban sings, when I am down, oh, my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be. He suggests that you have had and likely will have in the future moments of doubt, moments of struggle, and moments of failure. As human beings, we don't like to fail. We have a rough time with it, and thus we try to avoid it. We try to protect ourselves, sometimes to our own detriment. Let me remind you of the message that Nubar Afeyan, the UWCD honorary board member and co-founder of the firm that brought us the vaccine to arrest COVID-19. Afeyan's work literally saved millions of lives and helped the world cope with a catastrophic pandemic. His company, Moderna, is one of the leading biotechnology firms in the world. Do you think he and others in the biotech industry have experienced failure, disappointments, setbacks? You bet they did, many. There is never a straight line to scientific breakthrough. We were fortunate here in this community that Afeyan visited UWCD in April and spoke to the school, and some of you may remember. Somewhat surprisingly, at least to me, he didn't talk about his successes. He didn't talk about what he had accomplished. Instead, he spoke of the value of failure. Yes, failure. Everyone has experienced disappointment in one form or another. Afeyan has failed many times, but he kept trying. He kept pushing to the forefront of his field. In his talk, he implored members of this community to embrace and learn from failure. He spoke about the power of learning from struggle. And he said, disappointment comes in all forms, and it comes from trying new things. He urged everyone to not be afraid of failure and to not shy away from pushing the boundaries and to not be cautious so as to limit your potential. He urged us to tap into our reservoir of resilience. So to the graduates of class 2025, I want you to think about the future you want. Carpe diem. Be the change you want to be. Do not be afraid of potential failure. I have failed many times. Many of the individuals in this room have failed. Embrace it for what it can teach you. Explore the unknown. The future is yours because you are far more resilient than you might think. And a hint. Here's a hint to you, the class of 2025. No one will remember what you did in your 20s when you're 40 or 50 years old. Finally, the lyrics ask an implicit question. They state, I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to be more than I can be. For you, graduates, what do you want to be? Is this question one of avocation or vocation or something else? Do you want to be a poet, a doctor, a lawyer, a linguist, a caregiver, a scientist, a good, dependable friend, a better son, a better daughter, a change maker? You have myriad choices. Fundamental to this question of what you can be is a larger question of what is the purpose of UWCD? We know and embrace the aspirations and values of the founders, Ruben and Veronica, and some members of their family who are with us here today. They set out to create a school that, and I quote, is a force through the power of education in enhancing global efforts to achieve a more peaceful, equitable, and sustainable world. Despite all odds and the challenges that you have witnessed here this afternoon, they have done this. Look around. This is here because of the dedication of this family and their work and their generosity. Would you please join me in thanking them? Would you stand? Stand. Masha, stand. George, stand. Stand up. Truly wonderful. I mean, simply look around. The vision of one family joined with others to make this a reality. But allow me to ask one broader question, one that resonates beyond these mountains and this campus. And that is this question I challenge all of you to think of. What is the purpose of schools? What do we want schools to do? To prepare students for jobs? To prepare students to be engaged citizens? To focus on the development of self-esteem? To teach students to respect differences? The problem is that we rarely, if ever, ask schools and their stakeholders this question. Simon Sinek, a US influencer, introduced us to the concept of the golden circle, which consists of 3 levels: why, how, and what. Most individuals start with the what. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? But they rarely explain why they do it. Sinek argues that leaders and inspired community members always start with the why, a core belief about the purpose that drives them. This foundational idea helps foster a sense of purpose, a feeling of coherence, a clear direction for any organization. Asking what is the purpose of schools is not a new question. I often ask this question of my doctoral and master's degree students at the Harvard Graduate School of Education more than 25 years ago. For a final assignment for the class, I asked students to answer the question in 8 or 10 pages, no less. What is the purpose of schooling? Students often reported that it was the most difficult paper they ever wrote. Many wrote to me years later saying that they pulled this paper out from somewhere and referenced it in their leadership roles. In fact, just last week, one of my former students, who is the manager of learning engineering at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative in California, wrote about this fundamental question on his blog. Instead, we argue endlessly about the what and the how, the process, the practices, what to do, not to do, but never the why. Topics like generative AI, high-impact tutoring, project-based learning, class size, student and adult mental health. We have deep and ferocious debates about these topics, but we don't ground the answers in the question of why. Such debates without a clear articulation of why result in confusion, people pulling the organization in one way or another, competing interests, and ineffective efforts. Take generative AI, which I'm sure you all have heard about. The cacophony, the noise about what it can and can't do is deafening. We debate what it can do, how it might influence our society, and whether it will replace humanity. These conversations and debates about its use and potential benefits or possible dangers leave out personal relationships. They leave out connections. They leave out humanity. It treats learning as a singular, isolated event, just you and your computer search engine. Is this what we want? Why does it possibly serve? Or is it just the new, shiny thing? What in the world do we want it for and why? Being clear to the class here about your personal purpose, what is your why, is essential that we want you to embrace as you leave this campus. I've come to the end of my remarks. You must be all relieved. However, as a teacher, I want to share a code, or what we call in a fancy word, mnemonic, that will help you remember this talk, so that if some researcher from Harvard comes to you and says, "What did she say?" you might have an answer. And the mnemonic or the code is this, and it's easy to remember because you already know this code, but for a different reason. The code is CPR, but it's not about cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The C is for connection. The R is for resilience, and the P is for purpose. Why does this enterprise of schooling warrant so much attention in our world? The answer is because we desperately need to invest in our young people. We need to invest in you. Across the world, young people under the age of 18 represent nearly 30% of our world population. They are 100% of our future. What could be more important? Congratulations to the UWC students, faculty, parents, alumni, and friends. A very bright future awaits. Thank you all.